Welcome back to what should be a very dramatic edition of the Jon Krawczynski Show here at TalkNorth.com. My goodness, what a game. John and I were there on Sunday night. Dramatic, fascinating, and we're going to get to a lot of stuff. But first of all, let's congratulate Jackson Hayes. He's going to be able to tell his kids that he started a playoff game and was a +1.
Amazing. He gave everything. It was a huge mistake for JJ not to play him a little bit longer. So
project that out. He's a +12.
That's right. And they win the game.
Yeah.
The numbers are the numbers.
You got to go with the numbers. I always say that. No, we're going to get to the big stories. I think there are two big storylines coming out of this game. And of course, there are about 1 million fascinating developments because this is high stakes sports. This is great stuff. Great atmosphere at Target Center last night. So this is the Jon Krawczynski Show from TalkNorth.com, coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We're presented to you by Giggly THC Beverages. Promo code GigglyNorth will get 50% off your first order. I just did that recently, and I have a fridge stocked with that stuff. Check them out, Giggly.com. GigglyNorth is a promo code. Thanks also to one of our new sponsors across the board here, Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. We'll tell you more about all of our sponsors here in a little bit. For me, John, the two big storylines, Ant playing great in another fourth quarter. Great clutch performance, great decision-making after a season in which we didn't always see that. And number two, J.J. Redick trying to win with 5 players against a deep team. You choose what you want to start with.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really are related, but I think let's just start with Ant because I think we have to. When you look at what he is doing across this series in terms of figuring out what his team needs and giving them exactly that, it's been remarkable. And I thought game 4 was the best game of his career. And you look at the way that he came out of that fourth quarter huddle as they're starting the quarter, they're down 10 points. He sees Luka and LeBron across from him, and they are both playing exceedingly well. They're both they're close to their A games from a scoring standpoint, LeBron from kind of doing everything, and they are desperate to win this game. They are in the driver's seat and ready to close it out and send it back to LA evened up. And Anthony Edwards just basically looked at the two of them and said, I'm taking you both on by myself. And it worked. He comes right out of the gates. He's shooting threes right over them, hands in his face, getting them back into the game with his shooting. And then he flips the switch after that, gets Naz Reid involved, gets Jaden McDaniels involved, gets Dante DiVincenzo involved. He was the best player on the floor in a game where Luka and LeBron were playing as well as they could possibly play at this stage of their careers. And to say that is amazing. And the display of shot making, leadership, everything about it just says that this is a player who is headed toward top 5 player in the league status. And the way that he did it and the way that he brought his team along with him is legendary stuff, as close to legendary as it can be in the first round of a playoff series, which I don't know about you, Jim, but this does not feel like a first round playoff series. This feels like Western Conference Finals. This feels like just the stakes, the electricity, all of it. It's just amazing stuff to watch.
It is. It's fantastic. And I was standing there, Tim Conley walked by and said basically the same thing to you. It's like, my God, what a game. This is fantastic stuff. And it's also fantastic and kind of heartening because all the things professional sports franchises want to be about: player development, cohesiveness, mental toughness, physical toughness, putting the right pieces together, playing the right people together, culture, all that stuff, all the words that get thrown around that sometimes mean nothing if you can't execute it. We're seeing all of that. You're seeing, let's just look at player development here. It wasn't that long. It was weeks ago. Looked like Anthony Edwards couldn't solve certain defenses and couldn't play well in the fourth quarter. It was just a couple months ago, it looked like Jaden McDaniels was having a terrible season. It was just a couple months ago, it looks like Julius Randle didn't fit in here offensively. And it wasn't that long ago that DiVincenzo still looked like he wanted to be playing for the Knicks. All of a sudden, they look like a completely unified team.
That's and it's a great point, and I do think that is where Chris Finch and his staff deserve a tremendous amount of credit. Like, I think that Finch has taken some arrows this season from the fan base that so wants this team to just automatically go further than the team last year. And the expectations and the trade and all of the things that kind of conspired to make this regular season kind of more of an angst-ridden season. You know, a lot of what people were mad about with Finch is actually starting to pay off now. He stuck with Julius Randle in the starting lineup when people didn't want him or wanted him to move him out of there, and that's starting to pay off. He stayed with this kind of top eight starters type of philosophy to try and get them as much cohesion on the court as possible so that when they got to the playoffs, things would be gelling. That looks like it's paying off. Jane McDaniels has gotten better. Naz Reid has gotten better. You know, you look forward and you think that Terrence Shannon, Rob Dillingham, Jalen Clark, they're all going to get better as they go along in this system. And so what Chris Finch is doing is putting together a top-notch player development program, but also sort of the patience that he has shown within this season when there was a lot of calls for him to make quicker moves with Mike Conley, with Julius Randle, with others. I mean, it's all kind of coming out in his favor right now. And this we'll still have to close out the series. The next game is going to be a difficult one, but I just do think that what Finch has done since he arrived here, but even more so this season of staying patient, of staying true to his convictions and what he believed in, he's being validated right now for all of that work that he has put in and all of that criticism that he took earlier in the season.
No doubt about it. All right, let's we have a lot to get to here because we have a couple special sponsors. I want to get to them right away. First, John, tell us about Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
Yeah, Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west side or east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
Just remember Giggly, giggly.com. Giggly North is the promo code. I really love the flavors. I love the variety. Some of them taste like great cocktails. Some of them taste like just good tea, flavored tea, tea with lemon. Some are just really nice light seltzers. You can get them with 10 milligrams of THC or 5. For me, I'm a lightweight. I go with the 5 unless it's like it's a weekend and I'm treating it like I want to get a little loopy. But it's relaxing. It's healthy. It's fresh fruit juices. It's low ingredients. It's low calorie. You can have fun and feel great the next morning. For me, it even helps me sleep. You can find them at Quick Trip shops everywhere. You can find them at your local grocery store in most cases. A lot of liquor stores are carrying them. It's everywhere. But once you figure out what you like, just go to giggly.com and use the promo code and order it for yourself. Fill up your fridge like I have. You will enjoy it and you will not regret it. No regrets, good drinks. So let's get to JJ Redick. First year head coach, no head coaching experience. And he decided to ride his 5 players, not 5 starters, but his main 5 players, basically like the last 25 minutes of the game. In the fourth quarter, his team looked tired. Doncic is coming off a sickness. LeBron scores 0 points in a fourth quarter, a must-win fourth quarter of a playoff game. I have to believe fatigue was a factor.
Yeah, and it has been this whole series, Jim. Every fourth quarter has been dominated by the Wolves. Even the game 2 that they lost, they shaved a 22-point lead or deficit or whatever it was down to 9. And it made it at least interesting down the stretch because the Lakers are too shallow of a roster. They wear down as the game goes on. But I think what you saw from JJ Redick in game 4 was the result of Anthony Edwards and what this Wolves team has done. It has made JJ Redick and the Lakers desperate. And that was a desperation move on Sunday because they knew that falling behind 3-1 is not a death sentence, but it's pretty darn close. And so he, rather than try to get a couple of his guys even a few minutes of rest, even when they were up 10 to start the fourth quarter, he said, I've got to stay with these guys because I have no other options. And the Wolves have made it clear to the Lakers that they only have one way to beat the Timberwolves, and that is with LeBron and Luka being out of this world good. And they were out of this world good for most of that game on Sunday until the last 7 or 8 minutes when that fatigue set in and when the Wolves just kind of set their jaws and really just took them apart down the stretch. And so I think it has to be really demoralizing for Redick because you look at what everything they did. They hit 19 threes. They got 38 from Luka. They got almost a triple-double from LeBron. They got 23 points from Rui Hachimura, just pulling three-pointers out of his rear end. And they still lost. And it's just got to be deflating. And that's where you give the Timberwolves just so much credit with this too, Jim, because even though the Lakers I think did run out of gas, I think the Wolves still had to go take the game. Like they still had to execute down the stretch. And what I thought going into this series, even though I picked the Wolves to win, I thought if they were going to be in clutch time dogfights, it was going to be a losing proposition. Going against Luka and LeBron in those minutes was just going to be really difficult for a team that has struggled in the clutch all season long. And here we have, in back-to-back home games, the Wolves out-clutching LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers and beating them at their own game. And that's a hugely impressive thing for them to pull off here.
It is fascinating. If there is a through line between the great 7-game victory series against the Nuggets last year and what we've seen in the first 4 games of this series, 2 epic struggles, it's that, man, the Wolves really enjoy playing against teams that don't defend the rim very well.
For sure. It's a great point. This is when they're at their best, right? So they struggled all year in clutch time situations. A lot of times hard to generate good shots. And, but then in this series, I think Jace Frederick put it out there. Their net rating in the fourth quarter is like plus 88.1, which is insane. Like, just completely insane. But the reason is that the Lakers don't have any rim protection. How many times did we see, even though Ant and Naz both hit big threes, like really big threes in that fourth quarter to help them get back in it, their ability to penetrate and get buckets at the rim and get shots there, DiVincenzo, Reed, Jaden McDaniels, Ant, like everyone there, Julius Randle, like they all were able to go there and get there at will and just do enough to keep the deficit shrinking. And I think that what you saw from the Lakers in the fourth quarter is Luka missed a couple of bunnies. LeBron missed a layup. Those guys, those tired legs really just could not get over the hump that way. Whereas the Wolves still had enough energy to get past their perimeter defender, of which the Lakers have terrible perimeter defenders, and get to the rim. And once they were there was nothing stopping them. So as long as the Wolves didn't miss their layups themselves, which DiVincenzo misses them and Edwards misses them, like it happens, it is right there for them. And that's easy offense. And that's just been such a key to this series that Jackson Hayes has been completely unplayable for the Lakers because they just don't have any other answers for the Wolves at the rim with how aggressive they go to the basket.
How do you assess Rudy's play? I mean, the last couple of games, he's been terrible offensively, but he is getting rebounds and he is drawing fouls, pursuing rebounds.
Yeah, it's a really sort of complex thing to look at Rudy in this series. Cause you're right. I think offensively, it's been tough. I mean, 1 for 6 in game 4. Every time he grabs a rebound and brings it down to his waist, it gets stripped from him. That's really frustrating to watch. And Chris Finch definitely went away from Rudy in the fourth quarter because he wasn't doing enough damage offensively to justify being out there. That said, defensively, he has been really good. He has been a deterrent for the Lakers going to the rim. He has played very well against Luka Doncic in the ISOs that we have seen. He has held up incredibly well in that area. And then one thing finally that we saw in Game 4 that we hadn't really seen a lot in the first 3 games of the series was that he grabbed 7 offensive rebounds. And when you get that kind of production on the glass, on the offensive glass, it's giving yourself extra possessions. It's giving your team extra shots. It's keeping the Wolves in the game, even when LeBron and Luka were throwing everything they possibly could at them. And so you look at the numbers here, and I got them right in front of me. Yeah, second chance points, the Wolves had 20. They had 18 offensive rebounds, and Rudy 7 of those. And so he really helps and is elite in some very big areas, but he has also been a detriment in a very big area as well. Overall, I think he's been a positive for them in this series. But initially, I thought with the way that he had been playing down the stretch, with how involved he was offensively, with how the Lakers look and how they want to play, I thought Rudy was going to have a bigger series from a scoring standpoint. I thought he was going to be catching more lobs. I thought he was going to be getting put back dunks. I thought he was going to be kind of controlling things in a different way. He has not done that, and that's been a little disappointing. But from the overall aspect, defense, and then finally offensive rebounding in Game 4, he's been a difference maker.
No doubt about it. All right, let's get to this moment in time, assessing the big trade, where things stand right now. We'll be doing this every 3 or 4 hours until the end of time. But first, I want to thank Aquarius Home Services. We're coming to the Aquarius Home Services. We want you to know more about Aquarius Home Services.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services. Enjoying the roller coaster spring weather? Record highs, then freezing cold, even snow. Spring sure has its twists and turns. What's next? Our hot, muggy summer. That means now is the time to schedule your AC tune-up, and for a limited time, it's 50% off. From tune-ups and repairs to new system installs, enjoy expert service and no surprise upfront pricing. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
And thanks to our friends at TSR Injury Law, especially Steve Terry. Steve made Naz Reid what he is today. Let's admit it. I mean, that's player development right there. TSR Injury Law, they do good work. They help people. If you ever have an injury, you're going to want people you can trust, people who are really good at what they do. So you call 612-TSR-TIME, as if you don't know the number, 612-TSR-TIME. Enjoy the billboards. Enjoy the great commercials with Naz Reid. It's so cool to see Naz become so popular in so many ways. And of course, TSR Injury Law is smart enough to align themselves with one of the most popular, endearing players in Minnesota sports. But just remember, if you're ever hurt, call 612-TSR-TIME. They won't charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. Thanks also to Royal Credit Union.
Boost your savings when you open a money market account at Royal Credit Union. For a limited time, you can get a $1,250 bonus when you bring $100,000 or more in new money to open a personal or business money market account. Royal's money market accounts have no monthly maintenance fee and tiered rates, so higher balances earn more. See details and open a money market account today at rcu.org/earn-more. Minimum deposit of $100,000 required to obtain bonus. Offer ends 5/24/25. Insured by NCUA.
Okay, so let's take this opportunity to reassess the big trade. Cat had a really good regular season. He's playing well in the postseason. The Knicks are up on the Pistons. He's playing really well off Brunson. And now you see the Wolves getting what they wanted out of the trade, which is Randall being able to break down defenses, being able to score when Ant is resting or off the court. DiVincenzo's become a key part of the rotation. I think both teams probably got what they wanted out of this deal. What do you think at this moment?
Yeah, right now, Jim, it does look like a win-win for both teams. It has not always looked that way on both sides of the ledger, I think, throughout this year. And that's kind of why I've always wanted to sort of wait to really evaluate the trade, at least through the end of this season, but certainly going even forward a little bit, because we've talked about it before, but when the Timberwolves made the trade, a lot of it was financially motivated and not in the owners are cheap, they don't want to pay the luxury tax way. It was, in this new collective bargaining agreement, if you are above a certain threshold called the second apron, you have limited ways to supplement and improve your roster on the edges, and it's much harder to team build when you're in the second apron. And so they looked at it as the only way that they could get out of the second apron over the long haul and give themselves more opportunities to put good players around Anthony Edwards was to move off of Karl Anthony Towns and that huge contract. Well, they also thought at the time that getting Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo in a 2-for-1 trade was going to help them in the immediate future, in the near future, by making them more versatile and maybe a little bit tougher than they were. Last year's team was really, really good, and they could win games a certain way, the way we saw them, bludgeon Phoenix as a small team, the way that we saw them just outlast and overwhelm Denver running at this big front court. But then against Dallas, it didn't work as well. And so they wanted to be a team that could play different styles of basketball depending on the opponent that you meet in the playoffs. And getting Randle and DiVincenzo has done that for them. We saw in the last two games, Finch has gone smaller in the closing lineups with Naz Reid and Julius Randle in the front court, with DiVincenzo in the back court. And you give up a little bit of size from what Towns was or what Gobert is, but you have toughness, you have shot making, you have kind of high skill level. And that's really working for them in this series. If they win and play Houston in the next series, they may need to go bigger with Gobert in the front court with next to Randle. Maybe even you might even put Reed in there with a 3 big lineup sometimes, just depending on the looks that the Rockets are giving you. So in that respect, it is interesting to me to see this current team coming together the way that it is, and having several different ways to beat a team. Then you get Randle, who is playing terrific basketball in these playoffs. DiVincenzo has not shot the ball well, but he's played incredibly well defensively. 5 steals yesterday. He is helping. He's a winning player. So I think the Wolves feel really good about where they're at. I think the Knicks feel great about where they're at with Cat. Cat made 2 enormous shots down the stretch against Detroit on Sunday to win that game and keep them from getting even. So they're up 3-1. The Wolves are up 3-1. And right now, it looks like it is working out well for both sides of this.
Agreed. No doubt about it. Let's get to Naz. He's had an up and down series, but he made some big plays and hit big shots down the stretch. Where do you think his game and his header are right now?
Yeah, I think the what we saw from Naz in Game 4 was maybe the biggest indicator of the growth of Naz Reid, the player, because as fantastic as he's been in Minnesota, as much of a fan favorite as he is, as highly skilled as he is, one of the things that you kind of would notice over the years is if Naz was having a bad game, if he wasn't playing well, if he was getting fouls, if he wasn't making shots, if he was turning the ball over, sometimes he had a difficult time pulling himself out of that tailspin within a game and calming himself down and getting out there and being effective. Naz played terribly in the first 3 quarters in Game 4. And it was to the point in the fourth quarter, Jim, where I looked at the lineups that Finch had available to him, and I'm like, gosh, you really can't play Rudy right now because you need offense, and he's not going to give you that. But I understand why he was playing Rudy, because Naz Reid was playing so poorly, and it didn't really look like he was an option. To Chris Finch's credit, he went back to Naz Reid and was rewarded in a major way. Hit a couple of big threes, including, Jim, one out of a timeout where Chris Finch drew up the play for Naz Reid. I thought that was significant, right?
Yep.
Like, he's struggling. I'm going to get this guy a good open look at a 3, because I believe in him. And I think that belief fuels Naz Reid. And so, he makes those threes. He also makes the really nice little drop pass to Jaden McDaniels when he when he grabbed the pass from Ant and he's in the middle of the lane, McDaniels is cutting, he drops it, 3-point play, played really good defense. And so just looked like a very mentally tough performance from Naz Reid. And sometimes he has not looked mentally tough in the past. So I just thought it was super encouraging. And when they really did go to that lineup with Ant, DiVincenzo, McDaniels, Reed, and Randall, the Lakers really didn't have anything for them. And that settled in, and they walked the Lakers down just because they had all of the things that they needed on the floor to keep up with that group and also to stop them and also to score on their own. So Naz was a huge, huge part of that. And he deserves credit for sort of navigating the lows that he was experiencing earlier in the game and coming out on the other side and hitting clutch shots. There was one stat, Jim, where I think in this series, he's 9 for 10 from the field in the fourth quarter. Like it's incredible just what he is doing in big moments for them in this series so far.
Wow, that is a great stat. I wasn't even aware of that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Let's ask the big question: is the series over? John and I both picked the Wolves in 7. Were we pessimistic or optimistic? Let's get to that next. But we do want to hear more about True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. It's the place to go for LASIK surgery. Just a little quick aside. We were at Game 4 on Sunday, and I ran into Bill Bizey, and many Wolves fans will know him as the guy who would wear a suit, kind of crouch on the court side and whack his game program against the floor back in the day. He has come out to some playoff games over the last couple of years, and so it was great to see him at the game yesterday as well. Just kind of an icon of this franchise and a wonderful human being. And he saw me and he said, hey, where's your glasses? And it was just, I had LASIK. It's a whole new world for me. And Charlie Walters mentioned the same thing. Hey, Johnny, where's your glasses? Where's your specs? Got LASIK. And I went to True Vision in Bloomington to get that LASIK surgery. And the people there take an unbelievable care of you. They make it so easy. You get in and out of there in a really quick manner, and you feel really good doing it. You feel well taken care of. And when you come out on the other side of LASIK surgery, you just realize how life-changing it can be. I cannot recommend True Vision enough. They will take care of you every step of the way. So go to truevision.com, get your consultation, get started today so you are not like me and kicking yourself 10 years down the road and wishing you would have done it so much sooner.
We had a great time last time we had a live show at Headflyer Brewing. Thanks to Michael Grady for stopping by and being our guest that night. Tell us what's going on at Headflyer.
They are having unbelievable crowds at Headflyer Brewing for these Wolves games. The next game is Game 5, Wednesday night, potential closeout game. Where else would you rather be if you can't be in LA with me than at Headflyer Brewing? Have yourself some Crunch Time beer. Have yourself sit and watch just on the beautiful big screen TVs that they have all throughout their very open and spacious tap room. Get yourself one of their sweet kind of Wolves-inspired T-shirts and be there with just a ton of Timberwolves fans taking in this thing. Headflyer stays open late for these late games during the week. So if you want some atmosphere, if you want some vibes, if you want, most importantly, some great beer and a great pizza truck that they have out front with OG Zaza, just go to Headflyer Brewing and revel in this unbelievable series that we were watching with plenty of your Wolves fans. So go to Headflyer Brewing in Northeast Minneapolis and bite your nails through this series, tear your hair out, and celebrate with all your buddies when things go the Wolves' way.
And what should people wear to Headflyer Brewing or Target Center?
Well, Jim, I'm glad you asked. These should go to sglambchops.com, Shepherd Goods, and Lamb Chops Clothing. 20% off anything you can get at sglambchops.com when you use the promo code JONK20. And when you go there, you are going to see just the most comfortable, most stylish casual wear you can find: hoodies, sweaters, sweatpants, regular pants, t-shirts, hats, everything you could want. They've got it at Lamb Chops. And Jordan and Craig are courtside at these games. You should watch Craig for a minute at courtside when he is there living through and dying through the ups and downs. Jordan likes to chirp at Luka. I'm not sure that's the smartest thing in the world, but they go for it anyway. And these are community guys. They have been invested here. They are embedded in this community, and Lamb Chops is a community brand. So go to sglambchops.com, promo code JONK20 for 20% off. And at the end of this show, as we do every week, we will take a Twitter question, and the winner will get a Lamb Chops giveaway. So thanks to Lamb Chops and sglambchops.com for the partnership.
Little known fact, Jordan called for the review that got the Wolves the foul of LeBron that
Look at
led
that.
to the key free throws.
Making big plays.
Big plays, clutch plays is what we like to call them. So what do you think? Wolves in control, or is it just, you can't take anything for granted at this point?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I can say through 4 games, and this is what I truly believed before the series even started. The Wolves are the better team, and they are the deeper team. That said, going to LA for Game 5, a desperate LeBron, a desperate Luka, I just don't think that you could say with any kind of confidence that this is over. It's not over. It's not going to be over until the clock says 0 at the end of the game, either Game 5, Game 6, or Game 7, and the Wolves are on top. Those 2 players are absolute monsters. I think Austin Reeves will play better at home. Rui Hachimura played really well last game, but in general has been poor in this series. I just think that they are going to, with 2 days off, throw everything that they possibly can against the Wolves. I think they've done that the last 2 nights as well, and it hasn't been enough. But I guess I would be a little surprised if we're not coming back for Game 6. If the Wolves are able to close it out in Game 5 in LA, that would be remarkably impressive. They are 100% capable of doing it. I just have too much respect for LeBron and Luka to say that this series is over at 3-1.
And I think the schedule could play a deciding role at this point. They play Sunday night. Next game is Wednesday night at LA. Lakers will be as rested as you can be in the postseason. They will be as desperate as you can be to win at home. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Lakers win that one. I would be shocked if the Lakers won Wednesday, Friday, Sunday with 2 flights in between.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, the Wolves' plan or hope through this whole series has been, let's wear the Lakers down with our depth. And they have done that in every single game of this series so far. And then the longer the series goes along, I think the Wolves believe that the better positioned that they are to withstand it. They are younger in general, outside of Mike Conley and Rudy. They are deeper, and they are bigger, more athletic, and stronger. And so you would think over the course of that, it would play in their favor. At the same time, being in a 12-round fight with Luka and LeBron is terrifying. Like they are fully capable of breaking out and just taking things over at any moment. But at this moment in time in the series, it looks like they have one way to win and the Wolves have several different ways to win. And that's a good position for the Wolves to be in.
We will get to the Shepherd Goods Lamb Chops clothing line Twitter question to wrap up the show. One last topic before then. Finch has settled, at least in these matchups in the last couple of games of this series, he's settled on a closing 5 that does not include Mike Conley, kind of the veteran leader on the team, or Rudy Gobert, the defensive stopper on this team. I guess it's not surprising, but it's interesting.
It is interesting, and it's essential, Jim. What I said at the start of this series was that Chris Finch was going to have to be as flexible as he's ever been with his rotations and not worry about hurting feelings, not worry about playing favorites, not worry about anything that he has sort of focused on throughout this season, and just do what is demanded of that moment to win the game. And Finch has done it. He has gone to a smaller lineup to match up with the Lakers and have Rudy out. He is also playing Mike Conley quite sparingly in this series because it is a tough matchup series defensively for Mike Conley. But he is also getting the most out of both of those guys. Like, Rudy has been impactful. Conley has made big plays. That we have to talk just briefly, Jim, about him blocking LeBron James' shot at the rim.
My God.
They won by 3 points,
yep.
Jim. Like, these are the plays that I think the Lakers are on an 11-0 run at the start of the third quarter. LeBron seals Conley underneath the basket, turns around, tries to shoot. Conley blocks the shot. And I think the Wolves outscored the Lakers from that point on by 13 points in the game, from that point to the end. Like, these are the kinds of things that both guys are contributing in big spots. In game 3, it was Conley grabbing the offensive rebound, going out to the 3-point line and shooting and knocking down a big shot. Like, so even though Finch has sat them down at some points, they are still being impactful. And so I just think that Chris has done a great job of doing what the game demands and not really worrying about politics or about anything else. And it is a huge reason why the Wolves are up 3-1 in this series, is because of the way Chris Finch is managing these games. And he is just doing it just a little bit better than the way that JJ Redick is doing it so far.
Let's get to our Twitter question.
Yeah, and so it's kind of along those lines, but it's from Lars Stromberg. And he said, from being in the locker room, do you get a sense that Mike and Rudy are willingly sacrificing for the team by sitting out crunch time? If so, I have so much respect for veteran leadership like that. And Lars, I can tell you unequivocally that the answer is yes, but it is, I'll expand on a little bit. I am not surprised at all that Mike Conley is handling it the way that he is. I wrote about it last playoffs. He started right before the Phoenix series started last year. He sat everybody down and he told them, look, it's time to check egos at the door. If that means I have to come off the bench, I'm going to do it. If that means I'm not playing in the fourth quarter, I'm going to be okay with that. It's whatever the team needs from us. That is what is going to get us deeper into the playoffs. And he followed through with that in last year's playoff run. He's following through with it again in this year's playoff run. I think he knows that he can still help the team, but I also think that he sees the bigger picture and as long as they are winning games and he gets a chance to advance at this stage of his career, he's all for it. What I was interested to see is how Rudy Gobert would handle it. He is incredibly prideful. He wants to be out there with his guys, and he believes that he can control and make an impact. Even when he's had a couple of turnovers, even when he hasn't made shots, he believes he's going to come through. And so for him to sit out, I thought there was a bigger chance of him being disgruntled, moping, not being a team player, those things. What I can tell you so far from everything I've seen in the locker room, he's been incredibly professional. He is helping guys out on the sideline with defensive assignments. He's giving them things to look for. He's doing what needs to be done and sacrificing the way that he needs to sacrifice and being a team player. So I got to give Rudy props for that, because I could easily see a scenario where he doesn't handle it well, where he thinks that he should be out there and he thinks that it's a reflection on him. And so both of those guys have been tremendous to this point in the series of taking what is given to them and what comes to them, because it's been validated by them winning games. So props to those guys for how they're handling it so far.
Great stuff, John. Enjoyed it. You can also hear John and myself on the Viking Update Show. We'll be reviewing the Vikings draft this week. Check that out. We also have Jeff Diamond's Vikings and NFL Insider reviewing the draft. But, we've got everybody. We've got Russo, we got Krawczynski, we got Roy Smalley, Lavelle E. Neal, Don Mitchell, Randy Shaver, Mark Rosen's new show. Check it all out at talknorth.com. Subscribe to the shows you like. We do appreciate it, and we will talk to you next week.